5 years ago, we stepped into the Farr Best Theater for the first time to investigate the paranormal claims that surround this place. We showed up without much gear and without much hope. What we found that night was astounding. We left shocked. Since then, we have done multiple public ghost hunts where people have come in and we have continually found spectacular evidence here. So now we've returned 5 years wiser with a lot more history that we've discovered and a lot more gear as we make our big return to the Farr Best Theater to see what else we can find in this century-old landmark here in Mansfield.
In our time investigating the Farr Best Theater, we have encountered and learned of 4 spirits. There is the ghost of McDougal, the name given to the spirit that is said to have come along with a bar donated to the theater that was originally from a Scottish pub. There's Mrs. Peck, a woman murdered by her husband in the 1930s who haunts the second floors of buildings in all of downtown. Through multiple investigations, we have discovered a spirit that seems to be the drummer of a band that once performed at the theater. And then, on occasion, we have encountered something darker. On this night, we'd make discoveries unlike any before. Just minutes after we got all of our cameras rolling, while we were still assembling our gear at our base camp in the lobby, a motion detector we placed in the old projector room, a room we have identified as the most active in the theater, began going off with no one upstairs.
Okay. No way. Motion sensor just went off. We heard it.
Yeah, we just heard the motion sensor.
There it is again.
Oh my gosh. That thing can't set off by itself.
It can't.
Is there somebody in there?
Hello. Where'd you put it?
It's right there, Kevin.
Oh, there it is. Hi.
While we experimented to see what would and wouldn't set off this motion detector, we began to ask questions.
You try to set it off again. Or, if you're downstairs already, set off the REM pod, the little red square. Grab your hand on that thing. Grab the little antenna on it. That's the REM pod. That's the REM pod temperature going off.
Just like you told it to. You just told it to do that.
Yeah, okay, touch it. Grab it real quick from here.
The REM pod is a device that detects motion and temperature changes around it, meaning it requires clear external stimuli to go off. This device had been silent for most of the night and would remain silent for most of the night, except for this moment. Back downstairs, we began using a popular app that cycles through radio frequencies at a high pace. If answers or comments seem to correspond with the questions or the surrounding environment, it makes for compelling evidence. While trying to communicate, this happened.
Thirsty? Are you thirsty? Pre-programmed what?
Did you see what I was doing?
Yes.
You're drinking.
It said, "Are you thirsty?" Want to be a pepper?
What am I drinking?
What did it say?
Pepper. It sounded like it said Dr. Pepper.
A voice that seemed to distinctly say thirsty as I was taking a drink came through. The second answer definitely sounded like Dr. Pepper on site, although the recording is less clear. No other answer came from this app all night that matched this level of specificity. A little while later, we were continuing to ask questions and had set up the laser grid downstairs. Through the grid, I thought I saw some of the lights moving, but my camera caught something much more amazing that we only discovered later.
Whoa. Yeah, I definitely saw some. And by the concession stand back there.
A light anomaly materializes in the balcony, moves quickly, slows to a stop, and then darts away. This is behavior completely impossible for a dust particle, and the light is much too far away to be an insect. Most importantly, when you go frame by frame, you see it is obscured by a microphone stand up in the balcony as it passes behind it, meaning this is not a lens flare or flashlight. The corresponding surveillance camera confirms that no one was upstairs and no one was shining a light there at this moment. While small in the picture, this stands as one of the most extraordinary pieces of evidence we've ever caught on camera. We investigated further with no major developments and decided to try a spot we've never really worked on before, the side stairwell. We placed the motion detector at the top of the stairs and began rolling. And again, the detector went off with no one around. You can hear us on the camera trying to debunk this, trying to trigger it from the outside, to no avail.
Shine your flashlight at the vents above you.
That's what I was just doing. I mean, there's no way I just refuse to believe that this bathroom could possibly impact a motion detector in the concreted off stairwell.
Then we all go quiet. Then you hear something else. Something whispers in the stairwell. It is highly unlikely that this is any of us. Surveillance cameras confirmed Kevin had moved into the main theater by this point, and RJ and I were back by the monitors well away from the door. You can also hear the muffled way our voices sound from outside the stairway. A whisper like this from one of us would have been impossible for the camera to pick up. It's completely unexplainable. Just after the clock struck midnight, I returned to the projection room for my final solo session of the night. After an evening of our ghost hunting devices being completely silent for the most part, all my calls and questions still elicited nothing. Nothing with those gadgets, at least.
Were you up here earlier?
A shadow figure darts in front of the camera, and then, just a few seconds later, does it again. This shadow is blocking the infrared light on the night vision camera, meaning it's invisible to my eyes, but clearly seen here. To reinforce this evidence, the night vision surveillance camera on the balcony was also able to capture the shadow through the window of the projection room. Along with the light anomaly earlier, this stands as the most compelling visual evidence of the paranormal we have ever captured. Hours later, after I had departed and Kevin and RJ began their night of trying to sleep in the theater, they were awoken by the REM pod one final time after it had been silent almost the entire night.
Stop. Stop. Well, I've never heard it do that before. What the?
Are you doing something to it?
No, I'm nowhere near it.
This theater continues to amaze us. After 5 years, we are still floored by the compelling evidence it provides us every time we step through the doors. We leave it up to you to decide whether the show that plays out on the darkened stage every night is paranormal or not.